उधर एनडीपी आगू जगमीत सिंह ने भी सस्कैचुअन दे विच मैरीवल इंडियन रेजिडेंशियल स्कूल नेड़े मूल वासियों दीआं कबरां मिलन ते दुख दा प्रगटावा कीता है। उन्होंने कहा है कि कैनेडा के अंदरों लगातार मूल वासियों दीआं कबरां मिलनियां मंदभागी गल है। उन्होंने कहा कि अजिहे रेजिडेंशियल स्कूलों का निर्माण ही मूल निवासी मासूम बच्चों का कतल करने के लिए किया गया सी।
We were all shocked and just reeling from the discovery of 215 kids in Kamloops. And at the time, Indigenous leaders told us that this is not going to be the last discovery, that there were going to be additional discoveries. And while we were reeling from that horrific discovery of what it meant for 215 kids to be stripped from their parents, stripped of their language, their identity, and then to be stripped of their lives in what I find really difficult to call schools, but these residential institutions that were designed to kill Indigenous people. But we knew there were going to be additional discoveries, and we wanted to make sure that Indigenous communities were partnered with and were supported if they made that choice to see if there was additional burial sites anywhere across the country. Well, now we've just learned of an additional discovery in Saskatchewan, and it sounds like this could be hundreds of kids found in unmarked graves. And I think about what that means. Like when we think about the school, I think about the school that I went to, the grade school I went to in Windsor. There are no burial sites on schools. That is not a normal thing. That should not be something that gets normal. And I'm worried that we might become desensitized when we see additional discoveries and we stop reeling from the impact. We have to realize these are little babies. These are kids. These are children that were stolen from their homes and then they were killed in these institutions. And that was the plan. And we have to move beyond just condolences. We will take the time to mourn, and we should mourn, but we have to demand more, particularly from our federal government. And that's why we're saying that it is not good enough for Justin Trudeau to say that he is expressing condolences when he is still fighting Indigenous kids in court. That is the same unbroken legacy. Residential institutions where kids were sent and killed, and then Indigenous child welfare was so recklessly and willfully discriminating kids that they were underfunded and kids were killed. Kids died. So we need to stop. This Liberal government needs to stop taking kids to court. It needs to implement the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action. It needs to properly fund and resource all survivors and communities that have been impacted by the trauma of residential institutions.
साडा हर एक प्रोग्राम देखण ते साडे नाल जुड़न लई सब्सक्राइब करो चैनल पंजाबी ते नोटिफिकेशन लई बेल आइकन वाले बटन ते क्लिक करो।